What's up, everybody? This is Jason here, back with the Cybertronic Exchange, and just want to welcome you back to another review. Today we are doing a slightly different review. We've already looked at the figure Jazz from Magic Square, but today we are looking at Lockdown's trophy case of some accessories that he made for Jazz, and so just kind of want to give my thoughts and opinions on what all we've got going on. Now, what you're looking at here is Jazz in ski mode. I purchased some water effects to go with Jazz in ski mode. He has these skis that hook onto the side, just like Cliff Jumper has. Let me see. I think I got Cliff Jumpers right up in here. Yes, I do. So Cliff Jumper has a couple of these little, oh, that's jetpack for Bumblebee. No, they're in here. Is that all? Oh, no, that's all four of them. Huh. So, I believe old Cliffy here. They just attach like so on a Cliff Jumper. So now they both have water skis. Anyway, so when I saw that he came out with a whole bunch of accessories for Jazz, I had to jump on them. Now, I fully support makers in what they do. I dabble in it myself. I don't do much with it. I have a 3D printer. I used to build stuff for rail-controlled airplanes and things like that. And it's all fun. It's great. But when it comes to making money and providing a product for your people, there is a certain level of expectation. And I feel like Lockdown's trophy case is, we're going to call them LTC for right now because that's a lot to say. But you can find them on Etsy. And anyway, I feel like he is on the right track, but he needs some refinement. And that's my personal opinion, and I want to go over that with what I have here. I want to present exactly what my experience has been, and that's going to include the good, the bad, and the ugly. So without any sugarcoating, here we go. First of all, I want to look at these wave effects. The wave effects are really nice. They're printed in like a blue translucent plastic, and it's got some nice little paint applications, just soft paint applications to the ridges of the waves to create that dimension, so it's just not blue goo just stuck there and you have to imagine. I feel like the paint applications are really nice. The stand that I'm using is actually of the same style 3D blue translucent, so it's not the exact same color, but it's kind of the same thing. I think what he does is he prints these out and then he makes molds from them. I have a vacuum chamber and RTV silicone and all that stuff to make molds, because when that light hits it just right, you can see just gentle ribs where the 3D print happened, but they're smooth. So I feel like he printed them at first and then sanded it smooth and painted this side to kind of fill in those gaps, or maybe he annealed it in the oven. I'm not entirely sure. There's several different ways based upon your print method to get the desired effect, but you can tell they were 3D printed initially. But I do believe that these are molded from 3D prints, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So anyway, when you order a set of these, it comes with all four. The way his shop is arranged, almost everything is buy per piece. Like each hand is like $2, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. I'm just going to set these to the side. I love little effects like that. I have lightning effects, explosion effects, things like that, and I think these go a long way with creating dioramas and making your shelf look a little less droll. So now, this is something I want to talk about. Because it's 3D printed and because it's so small and the tolerances are super tight, like trying to get these on, if you press a little too hard, you wind up almost damaging the transformation. That wheel is a little looser from me trying to get this to snap on. It is supposed to snap onto the wheel, but the problem is the tolerance for the bottom tray to snap on is real tight, and it broke. And I wasn't applying a lot of force because I was worried about damaging the wheel and the toy itself, but the piece broke. And it's a very much a forced friction thing. They're supposed to be able to pop right on and off, and for most of it they do, but I feel like there's some tolerance issues that need to be worked out. The back is a little, like, you have very, very thin tolerance there, and I feel like we are maximizing that space trying to get that in there, and we're almost forcing the wheel down, and it creates some wiggle right there. I would almost have rather have seen a spot for a magnet like what New Age does for their cliff jumper, rather than having these friction fed on there, because I feel it does cause stress to the part, and it causes stress to the figure. And when you're doing this sort of thing, you kind of don't want to introduce stress to the figure or the pieces that you just spent money on. Because I'll be honest with you, I spent $56 on all the parts I want to show you, and that includes shipping, and that's how much I spent on that guy. So, you know, that's a fair amount. Now, getting to the piece itself, I think this is beautifully sculpted. There's lots of nice little detail just to break up the monotony of what the piece could be. Looking at this is clearly printed, and this is printed, and it looks like everything was sanded smooth and made into a mold again, but you can still see print ridges right there. And it's two pieces that were glued together. This is just gray plastic. I don't think it's painted. I think it's just molded in gray plastic. And then this is also gray plastic, and it was just painted white. You can see faint airbrush strokes on it. And I believe a couple of these even have, like, that one's got some weird lines on it. I don't know if you can make them out, but it's got some diagonal lines on it that this one doesn't. So there's just some finishing aspects to these pieces that I feel need to happen, and it may be just the process in which it was made. I feel like I also got, like, some of these tilt. The overall design of it tilts, but then the points, those aren't it. Let's see. There's one that just didn't look like it lined up well. That's this one. The one on the right, it's hard to tell, but the one on the right seems to kind of go to the right a little bit more, like it's not quite the same part. It's minimal, but it's just noticeable. But yeah, overall the sculpt's nice. 3D print lines are a little excessive. I think some of it should have been sanded a little smoother before making molds. But if he is just running straight out of a 3D printer, that's a lot of time spent on these. And it looks like maybe he had actually broken this piece beforehand, because that's glue residue. I bet it did break before it got to me. That's glue residue on there. Anyway, again, conversation for another time. I just pointing things out as I notice. So I want to set that over there. Now, we're going to go through the hands. I did not buy every single hand he had available. Each hand was like $2, and then if you bought the pair, I think the pair was $3. So keep that in mind as you purchase these. But I did buy a pairing of each. So it wasn't like I only got, you know, like I got the thumbs up hand, and then I got the left hand thumbs up hand. And I'm not gonna lie, man, these are sculpted very well. I love the detail in the fingers and the thumb, the detail to the hand itself. You know, it's nice and smooth. There's some modeling going on as far as the paint application is concerned, and maybe that was just what he used to smooth it out, but the sculpt is very, very well done. Here's the pointing finger, left and right pointing finger. Again, sculpt's very well done. It looks like, though, it was on a sprue, because there's like a little chunk here, and there's a little chunk there, and a little chunk there. So that's what makes me think that maybe it's molded, but maybe not. It could all be printed. looks like I got two different kinds of pointing fingers. I got pointing finger slightly up. That's what I got. I got two pointing fingers slightly up. I got two pointing fingers straight. My fat hands are in the way. Two straight pointing fingers. I got that sit, you know, telling your dog to sit down, pointing finger. This is also used like blast or a sound wave to hit the eject button. Just, you know, that's what those are used for. I got two of those weird open style hands like, "Que pasa? What are you doing?" You know, or "Wait, don't do that." You know, so left and right of those. And then I got the hero pose hands where that, you know, you do that hero landing. So left and right version of those. So I got a ton of hands. I also purchased a blast effect that he has, and it goes onto the end of his gun like so. And I also purchased another blast effect. This is probably one of my top two favorites. So this piece actually goes in between these two pieces. So that plugs in there, and that plugs in there. And I really, 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 really dig this effect. Like, to me, that is so much fun. That is so well thought out. Like, I can't believe it. It's fantastic. It just puts a smile on my face. And my number one favorite part is the grappling hook. The grappling hook comes with a spool of this. It's a stiff wire. It's bendable and reshapeable. Okay, I don't know how many times I can get away with it, but as of right now, I'm getting away with it. It's painted on the grappling hook, gray molded plastic, and then the white. And the white that he paints it is pretty close to the white that's on here. And white comes in so many different shades. Getting it right is difficult, and I feel like he really nailed the color. So, also to note, translucent yellow plastic is here, and then this is all painted gray on top of that. So, really nice effect. The color really comes out well. Now, the spool on this can unroll. If you're gentle, you can unroll it and get some length of wire. And he's got a lot of wire on there, so you can unroll it a fair bit. And it's a little stiff at first, and I think it has to do with the paint being used, or just, you know, tolerances. But as you can see, I'm getting a fair amount of length out of it. And the cool thing about this is you can use your fingers and you can curve the wire to kind of do whatever you want it to do. You know, you can curve it out to the side, so like he's slinging it. I'm about to put him in robot mode, and when we come back, I'll start attaching some of these accessories, and we can just see how the fit and finish is. So we'll be back. All right, we are back, and let's go ahead and get on with it. Just right quick, we're going to look at the blaster in his hand with the effects. And forgive me, I'm not the best at posing. Get his hip skirts out of the way a little. The effect does stay on better than that. I keep bumping it. So there you go. It's kind of leaning a lot. Pretty cool effect. I dig it. His shoulder mounted rocket. Also, a really, really cool effect. So we're going to go ahead and swap out a hand here. Now the hand comes out easier with the pistol in it, or there's a blaster in it. So, and that's just me. The tolerances for Magic Square are super tight. I believe that's twice I've done that. That's twice I've sent y'all over the edge trying to remove the hands. Y'all, one of these days I'm going to figure some stuff out. I'll quit being so destructive. All right, now let's see. We're going to look at the first hand, and we're not going to go through all these on both sides. We're just going to keep it simple for one side or the other. Where's his? There it is. There's his tape deck finger. Now these, the tolerances are a little better. On these, they snap in real quick. So they don't take quite as much force as the regular hands. But you can get it all the way up and touch. And screaming face. You can angle it down. His other hand, go back to the pistol. Let's see if I can do this without knocking y'all on the ground again. There we go. Put this hand in just for effect. So that goes like that. And now he's got his other hand here out to the side, like, you know, however you want to pose it. So, pretty cool. I dig it. Let's look at his other hands here. We're going to throw in a superhero pose hand. Superhero pose landing. Or his no you didn't. And we're going to go with a thumbs up. Hey. Got thumbs up. And this is for that superhero landing pose. Like however they do that. I don't even know if I can get them down into that pose. You know, I don't know. I could probably work at that pose and get a little better, but that's how that hand, I think, works the best. You know, maybe a stop and get the heck out of here, Jack. Get to moving. So there's that pose. And I untab it. I always untab this. All right, we are back. I had to cut away. Had the love of my life come in the room. So, all right, I went ahead and finished swapping hands to the pointing finger and the shusher, or let me tell you one thing, finger. It's got that upward curve to it. You can see here the detail in the design work. again, I'm just really impressed with how well this came out and how small it is, knowing that it's 3D printing. I use a filament 3D printer, and I do not get this level of detail out of it. So, very impressed with it. Uh, but yeah, there's those, and then we're going to swap to my last one. I want to do this off screen. Now there is a right and wrong way to put the grappling hook on, and you'll like it's once you've attached. I say right and wrong way. There's a right side up and a for it to go, and let's see. We'll back this out just a taste. So if you were to put it on, like you can see that it doesn't line up like it's supposed to. So it really only goes one way. And again, you can curve the wire gently. To get the effect, and it's strong enough that it does hold the weight of the figure. So if you wanted to suspend the figure, if that was a thing you wanted to do, you could do it, and with minimal damage to the figure or worrying about anything like that. But I think it turned out really well. So what I really like about this piece is you can see the translucent yellow and how the gray from the smoke gets lighter and lighter as we get closer to the effect. And the tolerances for this are really well. So like I'm not worried about it falling off or popping off. Like you actually have to use a little bit of force to get it off. So, and the same with the blast effect for the blaster. It's translucent and it's sculpted really well. Has a nice effect, and you know, press it on, it's friction held on, so I mean it'll come off really easily. A couple of bumps or taps, then it'll eventually fall off, but it's pretty stable for the most part. But looks really good. But back to the subject we kind of started off at the beginning of the video. I want to be constructive in the things that I say. I want to be encouraging, because I don't ever want to feel like I'm slamming someone, because that's not the case here. We have just a couple of incidences. One, this plastic piece broke off, and I feel like that shouldn't happen. I think there's a better way to put that on, or put these pieces on. And you know, and I know that he's working with the materials that he has, and he's trying to keep the cost down and all that other stuff, because he is hand doing these things, and they are wonderfully done. But if he's not using the ability to, if he's not molding these things, and if he's straight 3D printing and painting them, it's going to take a lot of time. And I feel like he could save cost if he is molding these. So with that being said, if he is molding these, a lot of the 3D printed lines and stuff probably need a little bit more attention to come out. Not so much of the hands. I think the hands are pretty spot on, but the other accessories, where on the skis where you have flat surfaces that you can clearly see that it's been 3D printed, those I think need a little bit extra TLC. Now, after all this, and I want to be upfront, these products, even though one broke, they're wonderful. I really enjoy them. I'm really happy I made the purchase. I am satisfied with the money that I spent to do it. However, the experience to get them was not what I expected. So when you make your purchase, the thing that you need to know, that there is some copy on his page, and he clearly states that these are made to order and it takes 2 to 3 weeks to process. Cool. 2 to 3 weeks go by, and I reach out to him, And I asked him, I said, hey, it's been about 2-3 weeks, and I was just curious, do you have any shipping information on the pieces that I ordered? And he was polite. He responded that uh, no, we had a delay in the supply that he uses to make these parts, and that he's going to start production this week, and that he'll get me his shipping information as soon as possible, which is great. I totally understand that. My suggestion in the instance of a supply chain issue, is if you have a Facebook page, which he does, that you post it, and he may have posted. I have not gone back to look to see if he has, but I get updates on his Facebook page. I get notifications, and I did not see one. But my suggestion is, if you're having a supply issue with your materials, to go ahead and make a post and let people know that have ordered from you, even if it's just an email or something that you shoot in Messenger that's just copy and paste it from one person to the next, however you want to do it. Highly recommend just saying, hey, we're having a supply chain issue. We're going to be backed up about a week or two. Easy. I'm pretty easy going. I'm pretty understanding. Again, I've done this sort of thing before. But a little communication goes a long way. Now, fast forward a couple more weeks, and I get shipping notification. Tells me that it should be delivered between the 21st and the 26th of July. I received that email on the 20th of July. Super pumped, ready for it to come in. I've been excited ever since I saw these come out. Again, he does wonderful work, and why wouldn't you be excited? I don't get a shipping update until July 30th, saying that they will deliver on like August 2nd. So, and August 2nd rolls around, and I get a delivery notification, and none of this delivery notification is his fault. I have a UPS or a post office worker here that's dyslexic. My numbers always get transposed with the guy next door to me or the guy on the other street who has the same house number, just different street name. So none of that's his fault. But what I want to point out is the 10-day gap between when he made when he posted it for shipping, that it had been shipped, and the time that it actually left the post office. That 10-day gap, I feel, is a bit excessive. I used to make it a habit to try and go by the post office at least once a week when I was shipping stuff out. And I think that, maybe a notice of, hey, I go to the post office on Tuesdays. I do all my shipping on Tuesdays, and have a notice of expectation, not only for, the people that purchase from you, but for yourself, because if you don't keep yourself on a schedule, you could easily lose track of time, because I did that. I struggled with that at first, and it's just something I recommend doing, is having a set schedule that that on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, that you're dedicating your lunch hour, because if he's like me, he works a normal job during the week, and so you got to use that time to your advantage. Those are my criticisms. I would spend more time getting the lines off my 3D print stuff. I would look at making molds. I think he's making molds. I would hope that he's making molds, but at the same time, seeing 3D print lines makes me think that he's not making the molds. So I don't know. Just there's too much questionability there. But if he's not making the molds, I highly recommend it. If he is not making the molds, I would suggest maybe working at getting the 3D print lines out a little better. Because, I spent the same amount as I did on the figure. And I feel like, if you're going to spend that much money on accessories, the accessories should be top notch. And these are so close. They are really close. Magnets on the skis instead of friction held will keep from damaging any joints or plastic. Just simple suggestions, I guess. This is just me from the outside looking in, not knowing his process or what he may have planned for the future. But I do look forward to purchasing more from him. I'm very happy with the product overall. And it is a recommend for me. As far as anyone else purchasing it, I would say that I wouldn't hesitate to purchase it. Just understand that he is a maker. He is doing it on his own. and with that comes a little grace. And I you know, wouldn't go into it without understanding that. Because it does, as a maker, it would be frustrating if people are constantly hounding you about stuff when you're just trying to do your best and you have all this other stuff. And, um, I've been there and I've burned myself out on it to where I don't really make for anybody anymore. So, in the effort that hopefully he continues to make these and make up for where Magic Square falls off, then I say let's support the man because he's doing great work. I love it, and I look forward to seeing more of his stuff. So anyway, I won't keep y'all. I'm just rambling. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it useful, and go hit up my boy over at LTC. He's does excellent work, and you won't be disappointed with the product. They're awesome. Talk to y'all later. Bye.